There's a specific moment, that happens in almost every cat's final chapter. It's quiet, it's easy to miss, and most owners don't even realize what they witnessed until it's too late to ask any more questions. It's not a cry, it's not a collapse. It's something so small, so ordinary looking, that most people mistake it for nothing at all. A cat who suddenly wants to be near you when they never used to. Or a cat who disappears when they always used to be underfoot. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what that moment means and why so many cat owners only recognize it in hindsight, replaying it in their minds, wishing they'd known sooner. Because here's the truth. Cats don't tell us when something is wrong. Not with words. Not even really with obvious signals. They tell us in whispers. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll miss it completely. Stay with me. Because by the time this video ends, you'll never look at your cat's quiet moments the same way again. 1. They suddenly want to be closer to you than ever before. A cat who has kept their distance for years suddenly starts climbing into your lap, following you room to room, sleeping pressed against your side. It feels like your bond finally deepening. But sometimes it's not affection, in the way we assume it's a cat who feels vulnerable, instinctively seeking safety because something inside them doesn't feel right. It doesn't look like sickness. It looks like love. And that's exactly why it slips past so many of us. In the wild, a sick or weak animal is a target that instinct never left cats. So their first response to feeling unwell is to hide it for as long as they possibly can. Which means by the time you notice, they often can't hide it anymore. 2. Their appetite and drinking habits change. A cat skipping one meal usually isn't an emergency. Cats can be picky, and appetite naturally dips now and then. But a cat who stops eating for more than 24 hours, or who suddenly starts drinking far more or far less water than usual, is telling you something concrete is happening in their body. This is one of the clearest, most trustworthy signals a cat can give, because appetite is deeply tied to how their organs are functioning. Owners often chalk it up to a fussy phase, or assume the cat is just bored with their food. But when the change lasts more than a day or two, it's rarely about the food itself. It's about what's happening underneath. What happens next can be even more revealing. 3. They stop grooming themselves. Cats are meticulous groomers. It's almost a form of self-soothing for them, something they do dozens of times a day without even thinking about it. So when a cat suddenly stops grooming when their coat starts looking dull, greasy, matted or unkempt, it often means they simply don't have the energy or don't feel well enough to keep up with it. This one is subtle. It creeps up slowly, a little more each day, which is exactly why so many owners don't notice until the change is dramatic. By the time you see a visibly messy coat, your cat has likely been struggling with this for a while already. 4. They seek out unusual isolation. This is the opposite of the clinginess we described earlier, and it's just as important. A cat who suddenly seeks out small, enclosed, unfamiliar spaces under furniture, in closets, behind the water heater, may be instinctively looking for somewhere they feel safe and protected while they're vulnerable. But don't mistake this sign for something it isn't. Cats hide for all kinds of reasons: a loud noise, a stressful visitor, a change in the home. Isolation on its own isn't a red flag. It's the pattern isolation combined with other changes that matters. 5. Their movement, breathing, or overall comfort changes. Stiffness, reluctance to jump. A slower, more deliberate walk. These can be signs of pain, especially in older cats. And pain is one of the most common things cats work hardest to conceal. But the one that deserves the most urgency is breathing. Rapid, laboured or open-mouth breathing in a cat is never something to just monitor from a distance. This warrants immediate veterinary care. 6. Their litter box habits change. This one is easy to overlook because it happens somewhere quiet, somewhere private, but it's one of the most telling signs there is. You might notice your cat straining in the box without much coming out, having accidents just outside it, or the urine and stool looking different than usual, darker, lighter, harder or looser. Some owners assume it's a behavioural issue, maybe stress, or the litter brand changed. But litter box changes are almost always physical before they're behavioural. Your cat's body is processing something differently than it used to, and this is often one of the earliest, clearest windows into that. None of these signs on their own mean your cat is dying. Cats can develop treatable, manageable conditions that produce these exact same symptoms. But together, especially several at once, they're your cat's way of finally showing you what they've been hiding. Let me tell you about a cat named Millie. She was 14, independent her whole life, the kind of cat who chose her moments to be affectionate and otherwise kept to herself. Then, over about 2 weeks, her owner noticed Millie started sleeping against her legs every night, something she'd never done before. Her owner felt touched. She told her sister, "Millie's finally becoming a cuddle bug in her old age." She also noticed Millie eating a little less, but Millie was getting older, so she assumed it was just age. It wasn't until Millie's breathing changed, became slightly quicker, slightly shallower, that her owner called the vet. The diagnosis was heart-related, something that, caught earlier, might have had more options on the table. Millie's owner didn't do anything wrong. She loved her cat deeply. She simply didn't know what she was looking at. And that's exactly why this information matters. So here is a question: what should you do? If you notice 2 or more of these changes happening around the same time, don't wait to see if it passes. Call your veterinarian and describe exactly what you've observed. Even small details help them understand what's going on. While you're getting professional guidance, you can help a seriously ill cat feel more comfortable by keeping their environment calm and quiet, making sure food, water, and a litter box are always close by so they don't have to travel far, keeping them warm, and simply being present with them, soft, calm affection, without forcing interaction if they seem to want space. What you should never do is try to diagnose or treat a serious symptom on your own. Cats hide pain so well that home guesses can waste precious time. So let's go back to where we started. That moment. The cat who suddenly seeks you out, who wants to be closer than ever before. Is it your cat trying to say goodbye? Here's the honest, responsible answer: we don't fully know what's happening inside a cat's mind in these moments. We can't prove cats consciously understand death, or that they're delivering some kind of final message. But what we do know is this: when a cat feels vulnerable, their instinct is to seek out safety. And for most cats, nothing in the world feels safer than the person who has cared for them their whole life. So maybe it's not a goodbye in the way we imagine it. Maybe it's simpler, and somehow even more meaningful than that. Maybe it's a cat, in their most vulnerable moment, choosing to be close to the one place they've always trusted. Whether or not they understand what's happening, they're choosing you. Our cats give us so much in such a short amount of time. And so often, we don't realize how much a small, quiet moment mattered until much later, looking back. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: pay attention to the quiet changes. Not out of fear, but out of love. Because noticing early is one of the most powerful things you can do for the cat who trusts you completely. I'd love to know, has your cat ever done something unusual that you only understood the meaning of later? Something that, looking back, you realize was them trying to tell you something? Tell me about it below. I read every single one.